Hello and welcome to the Miscast table. My name is Jonas.
And my name is Måns. And today we're bringing you quite an exciting video. We've been on an adventure this past week.
Yeah, you could definitely say it was an adventure. We have been to, I would arguably call it Sweden's largest Warhammer 8th edition tournament.
It is the largest tournament in Sweden, played twice a year. And this was an 8th edition tournament with the addition of Triple Crown comp system. And this time we went, us two and two friends from our local association went down there.
Martin and Andre, those of you who follow the channel know them from the videos. Martin was playing his Beastman army and Andre was bringing his renowned Bretonia.
Yes, Bretonia. I was playing Empire and
I was playing the brutish Ogre Kingdoms.
Yeah. So it was loads of fun. We went down there over the entire weekend. We went on Friday morning and returned Monday just before work, you could say.
In the midst of night.
Yeah, in the midst of
but
night.
it was well worth it. I think Warhammer 8th edition, we've sent it plenty of times on this channel. It's in a great spot. And the tournament in Dalaslaget is growing. We had 30 people attending and then there were some people visiting briefly just to check out the scene.
Yeah.
And I think the game is in a great spot. We had a 2-day event, 5 games, which we are gonna go through during this video. And all in all, I think we had 150 awesome games.
And I think we recorded about 9 of them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go through those games, but we're gonna do it quite briefly so this video doesn't end up 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And we're gonna take a look at all the armies, the venue, and also when we went out and had dinner and like everything around
The good stuff. Like showing you some awesome painted armies, because I think there were a ton of them at the event.
Yeah, it was the quality of painting is insane.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of my army, and then I turn up and I'm like, my army is bad. Like this is not up to standard.
And then like the terrain, we have to give a shout out to Eric. I think that his Lustria terrain pieces were absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna get some picture of those as well. He's a great terrain creator. Yeah. And this year we brought home some prizes as well. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves at that point. I'm gonna keep you on the suspense until the end of the video. But with that, should we take a look at the trip we made down there?
Yeah, that's...
We have arrived! Grand Hotel Falun, our second home. So let's start by taking a look at the pairings for day 1 before we jump into the games.
Starting off, the first match was played using the rules for Battleline, where each of the players roll off to pick which side of the table that they will deploy in, and the opponent will deploy in the other half. Players then take turn to placing units on the table using the alternating method of deployment, and the winner is determined by victory points.
Yeah, I played my army against one of the tournament organizers. I played Niklas, a really nice guy. He's one of the organizers of the tournament. And he's also helping us out quite a lot in chat and stuff when we stream. And
he really knows the rules quite well, and he has been playing for quite a number of years. And he was one of 2 elf players at the tournament.
Yeah, the only high elf player.
Yeah.
And since he's a good player, I was quite nervous for this match and meeting him as my first opponent.
But you were playing a kind of different style list for this tournament. You had 2 steam tanks, and I think that fundamentally sets the tone when you meet your army.
Yeah, what really scared me about this army is that on their own, I can beat the elves with my steam tanks. The problem is that he has a level 4 wizard with the Lore of Shadows. And he also have Occam's Mind Racer. And if he gets that on any of his units, my
steam tanks just melt.
Yeah, they're just gone. Yeah. He also had the Pit of Shades.
Yeah.
Horrible for steam tanks. The big problem here was I was terrified of his magic phases. Okay, that was the big problem.
Did you bring a Dispel Scroll?
No, I did not play any Dispel Scroll.
So I think you were in a disadvantage at going into the game then.
Yeah, but I did get the first turn. And I did actually make a charge the first turn when I end up with my Demigryph Knights into his Illyrian Reavers, I believe that they are called.
Okay, so he had made a Vanguard move of some sort.
Yeah, so I gain first blood here and take them out.
I think that your Demigryph Knights, as we see on the camera, they just demolish them.
Yeah, but here he gets in with his cavalry unit. But actually my Demigryph Knights stood strong for a turn.
Okay. Before monstrous cavalry.
Yeah. And I got in the charge into the flank. And this is the big deciding moment of the match here. He has his unit of Phoenix Guard or something.
Yeah,
that's the guys with and he had a 6-inch charge here, which he failed. He failed a 6-inch charge.
Is that even possible for the elves?
Well, he needed to roll a 6.
Oh, okay,
but he rolled, or maybe he needed to roll a 5, but he rolled a 4. It was really, really low. And I really lucked out here.
Okay, because then they would have come into the flank of your unit as well.
Yeah, but now I have his unit in the flank. And now he's casting some magic here, and he's gonna get a big miscast here. And what happens is that he gets what is called Calamity Destination, the big
template, large template.
Large template over his big unit. They are completely decimated, and his wizard is sucked into the warp. And what happens?
I heard you mention that, but yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, that was really horrible for him. And the thing is that when he doesn't have Lore of Shadows anymore, he doesn't have
steam tanks come in a wholly different light.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything that can threaten my steam tanks anymore. And I just send the steam tanks in, and at this point it's just going.
Yeah, but that is the name of the game with 8th edition. The dice can be fickle, and if you miss out, and especially on a miscast, the game can change in one turn.
Yeah. So what happened here is that I'm gonna lose my regular knights with great weapons. I lose that unit. I lose my Demigryph Knights. But he loses almost everything else. I think the only thing he has remaining in the end of the game is his unit there in the middle with the steam tank. Everything else is gonna leave the table. And in the end, that turns out to a 17-3 victory. It was a massive victory. And the deciding moment was that failed charge combined with the same turn. He's getting that miscast sucked into the warp.
I feel for Niklas. I didn't quite get to understand exactly how terrible that turn was, but now when you walk me through it, I feel for him.
Yeah, he got murdered by his own dice, basically. Yeah, it was a good game. It was a fun game, but when stuff like that happens, you feel a bit bad. So, but it is what it is. It's a victory for me.
It's a tournament. I think you were happy to get the points.
Yeah, for sure. But it always feels a little bad.
I can sympathize with that.
The second match, we used this scenario Watchill, where you use the deployment rules for Blood and Glory, where you have 9 inches in from the side and you have 9 inches from the middle of the table. So it's quite an aggressive deployment. Then you place a hill in the middle of the table, and the player who holds the hill in the end of the game gains another 500 victory points. You can only hold the hill using units that have fortitude points, and you need to be the uncontested holder of the hill to receive any victory points.
My first game was actually against the same opponent that I got to play in the second game as well.
Yeah, you got to play the same player twice.
I was actually quite lucky because Thomas turned out to be a nice chap. We had a good time the first game, and unfortunately for me, I think that he got to understand my army quite well from our first encounter.
Yeah, because you won the first game.
Yeah, narrowly. We had a good like back and forth. He was playing a classic dwarfs list. He had a super cool centerpiece, a goblob, I think they are called, but now they are perhaps called grudge throwers. And then he had the organ gun, which absolutely decimates ogres.
Yeah.
And then he was playing with one of the cannons as well. So.
And I can say that the terrain piece you see in the bottom right, the house, I own that now. I bought it from the tournament organizer.
Yeah, it's what is it called? The chapel?
No, it's
the manor, the haunted manor or something.
Yeah, it's a manor.
Yeah, and he also had a really cool champion that really caught me off guard. He had a dwarf slayer.
Running around on his own. You can see there in the middle of the table.
I really wish that I shot some like lead belcher volleys at him before he turned out. But the game basically started out with him getting the first turn. He identified my lead belchers as one of the big threats from the first game we had, and then he aimed his organ gun. I was really banking on them getting the first turn so I could use my man-eaters and my lead belchers to get in and snipe his organ gun early. But instead he got the first turn, and then he pointed all of his shots at my lead belcher and he killed 4 of them. They fled into the corner, they just narrowly rallied, as you see here, and his organ gun was just tearing through my units left and right.
Yeah, the Empire Hellfire volley gun is strong. The organ gun is like another level.
And it's brutal. Like, because it has strength 5, so it has no problem wounding ogres, and it deals a sufficient amount of rounds each turn.
Range 30.
Range 30, and that is the big deal for me. But Thomas played a strategical, well-rounded game. He shot into my units with his war machines. I fired at his in turn, and I got some really, really lucky shots with my Iron Blaster. So I thought that I was probably the more lucky player up until the halfway point, even though I got a heavy, rough start.
You're fighting over that hill as well.
And what happened, however, was that he used his Dwarf Slayer to tie my unit up. If I remember correctly, his Dwarf Slayer challenged my block, and I felt that I had to accept it because I didn't know better, so I accepted it with my Slaughtermaster. And my Slaughtermaster isn't that great at killing the Slayer, because he had toughness 5, I had high weapon skill, but I only wounded him on 5+, and I only had 4 attacks. And it took me 3 turns to kill it, and by then...
It's unbreakable, right?
It's unbreakable, so it doesn't even care about me losing combat to my whole block. And by that turn, his hammer had gotten into my front arc, and it was turning out to a real slugfest. And my ogres were killing his dwarves, and his dwarves were killing my ogres, so we were dealing damage to each other. But my flank is absolutely exposed, so I was really banking on like winning this combat. But the dwarves are super tough, and eventually his block of warriors just came in to the side, and then they just brought the pain down on my guys.
Yeah, sounds rough. How did that game end?
In an absolute victory for Thomas. He brought it home. I think it was like 17-3 possibly. Yeah. We'll see at the brackets.
Yeah, we'll see at the brackets. Yeah, but it looked like a fun game.
Yeah, I had a really good time. I think that Thomas was a real champ to play against. But how did your second game go?
Alright, so in my second game I faced off against another one of the tournament organizers. He is called Jimmy. He's a really nice guy. He also plays Mordheim, went to the Americas to play some Warhammer a while ago.
And he has some absolutely amazingly painted Warriors of Chaos army.
Yeah, I think he won the best themed army with this last year.
Yeah, I think so.
If I'm not mistaken.
And that is a Mutalith beast on the bottom left corner of the table.
Vortex Beast.
Vortex Beast.
But this matchup was great for me. I was so happy when I got this matchup because he has 2 Mutalith Beasts, he has a Chimera, he has one of those like war shrines, I can't remember what they're called, and he has his general as well, which is on a flying disc, and I have 3 cannons. So when I got this matchup, I was so happy. It's great for me. it's probably the worst matchup for him of all the people he could have played. So it's quite a lot of targets here for me. He's playing quite aggressively, as Warrior of Chaos usually do. They live off their armor saves and tough infantry.
Yeah, and he probably needs to get into combat to avoid your cannons.
Yeah, and I get it in here once again. First turn, Demigryph Knights just goes ham into his Chosen, I think they're called. And they do quite well for themselves here.
But I would presume that they are going to lose some models there. I think that Jimmy's Warriors of Chaos are going to be able to deal with them. Yeah,
now I got it flanked in the side, but the first unit I took out quite easily. And as you can see, I shot one of the Vortex Beasts. He's hiding in the forest there, but he's gonna end up in trouble pretty soon. Here I'm gonna make a charge, or whatever you call it,
the random movement.
Yeah, into the Chimera, and that is gonna disappear. The combat here with my knights in the middle with the shrine is gonna go on for quite a while. Yeah, so you can see my knights, they're still running. I haven't managed to rally them yet. And this is for the watch hill as well. So we are fighting over the hill, but none of us are even close to it. And he's gonna get in with a lot of stuff. He has his general is in with my greatswords here. He got in with the greatswords in turn 2. But my greatswords actually managed to stand all the way up to turn 6, I believe.
Yeah, stubborn is a great rule. And
I managed to rally my knights the turn before this. And now I just sneak up on the hill. Here's nothing that can take it, contested. So I'm contesting it freely, basically. Unless, no, he has had his 6th turn, so he can't move his general. But what I do here is also quite disgusting. I put a cannonball from my steam tank into his general, and he has a 3+ ward save, and he re-rolls once.
So only 2.
Yeah, no, he actually rolls a 1, re-rolls it, rolls a 2. And I roll, I think, 4 wounds on the D6 wounds, and I kill his general here, the final thing that I do. And that's quite a lot of points. It's both the general and it's the point for the general. So, and both my steam tanks, as you can see, are alive. I have the hill with my knights. Basically this game as well, all I lost was the Demigryph Knights, I lost the Great Sword, and I believe I lost both my war machines, both the cannon and the Hellfire Volley gun. But since I have the hill and I killed the general and all that, I'm quite far ahead here. But it was a very poor matchup for Jimmy here. Very poor matchup.
I think that Jimmy seems like a super friendly chap to play against. And you're feeling good.
Yeah, 2-1 games. And I'm feeling great. I'm in the contention. So, we're speaking here with Jimmy.
Hello.
Hello. One of the organizers of Dalaslaget and the architect behind the massive achievement list.
The madness of the achievements. Yeah.
How many achievements do we have in total for this tournament?
I haven't counted them actually. Yeah. I know there's over 100.
There's over 100.
Yeah.
So you can see how small the text is.
Yeah, a lot of two papers.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah. And the one who gets the most achievements also gets a
gift card.
Yeah.
Yeah. From a anonymous sponsor actually.
Yeah. Anonymous sponsor.
Yeah. It's from a friend of mine overseas. But he wants to stay anonymous.
Yeah. But that's really fun.
Yeah,
so thank you to the anonymous sponsor of the gift card.
Thanks, man.
Whoever you are.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. But how do you think the tournament is going so far? We just finished game 2, and the day is going nicely.
It's going nice. And I mean, we're trying this new comp system for us. I mean, we're used to Sweet Comp, and this is kind of new. It's intriguing. I mean, a lot of the army lists are stronger than we're used to using this weak comp. So there's that, but I still think it changes up everything a little bit. I mean, this tournament, all the army lists are unique. There's no list that looks like one of the others, which is a thing that occurs often with the Sweet Comp.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think that Sweet Comp kind of pushes you quite heavily into certain playstyles, and Triple Crown is more free.
Yeah.
And we see both a big variation in lists, but also in comp, like in army strength as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Sweet Comp punishes you for having a lot of models in the same unit.
Yeah, and Triple Crown does not. In the same way, you get penalties for having too many points, but not just bringing large blocks in general. So I think that is a good thing. it more like pushes you towards having larger blocks of certain kind of units.
Yeah,
I mean, like shooting units. And
and I mean also the Sweet Comp drives you away from using a lot of hordes and Death Stars or.
Yeah.
But you can do some of these things in the Triple Crown, which I mean, if you're it's I shouldn't use the word bad player. I mean, you can be a simple-minded guy and like you just want to move forward your guys and charge.
Yeah.
So if you have a play style like Corn or whatever, it suits that kind of person with that kind of play style.
Yeah. So you're not you're not as heavily punished as a beginner, maybe you could say. It's easier to build lists as well. But we're 2 games in now, and the results have been quite heavy. I thought that there was going to be like more even games, but there's been a lot of 0-20s and 19-1s, so the points are flying all over the place.
Yeah, they are.
I think this is...
it's really hard to get a draw. It is.
Yeah, I think it probably is. And we have just played a game of Watch Hill, and it was loads of fun. The game was really fun. Quite a lot of like back and forth stuff. So I guess people have to see in the video. We put this just before that match, so see how that goes. But it was a great game. Loads of fun.
It was.
And
a lot of bad rolls on both sides.
Yeah.
And some really good ones.
Yeah. So it's a really interesting game.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for talking with us. Do you have any like closing thoughts or anything?
I hope some people are doing this achievement thing.
Yeah, but you put a lot of time into this. So
I mean, the thing is, a lot of this is stolen, or rather heavily inspired by an old 40k tournament which only used achievements.
All right.
Yeah. So the guy with the most achievements won first place.
Yeah.
So I just took this concept and redid a lot of those achievements, and it's been fun turning them from 40k achievements to fantasy achievements.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can put them all on a list, like scrolling down so you can see them. Thank you so much for talking with us. Thank you for a great game.
Yeah.
And see you all later.
I was gonna say one thing: stay square.
Yeah, stay square.
And then moving on, you were playing against one of the Gothenburg.
Yeah, one of the guys from Ten Island Gaming. You'll find a link to their channel down below.
And I don't want to like brag too much about Ten Island Gaming, but they are arguably the ones that you want to beat.
Yeah, they're probably the strongest crew in Sweden, you can say. And I'm playing against Jakob here. He has a wonderfully painted dwarf army. He painted it in 3 weeks, which is... And if the other game was a match made in heaven, for me, this is horrible. He has a dwarf army with basically 3 big blocks. And the only thing he has aside from those 3 big blocks is a unit of... is 2 small units of rangers. So
did he have fire rakes as well?
Yeah, he has a big unit of fire rakes, I think 26 or something.
Okay.
And then he has a unit of, is it longbeards or hammers?
Longbeards, presumably, I think it was.
Yeah, and I think the last is hammers. So he has just 3 big blocks, basically.
Okay.
And the thing with my army is that I use my war machines to shoot things to pieces. But even if I shoot at the dwarves, I can't kill all of them. And if I get them to take a leadership test, they're leadership 9 or 10 all the time. Yeah. And as you can see here, he's quite far forward, and that's because he had runes that he can make a vanguard move with all of his units in the beginning of the game. So it's starting to feel like really cramped here. And I'm definitely not sure what to do. I'm starting to move around with some of my cavalry. But I know that my steam tanks will get destroyed if I go in here.
Yeah, you can't get into melee with them.
No.
Not until you have softened them up. So.
No, they're way too strong. So I put my knights behind you can see they're hiding behind the house. And if he just steps out a little bit, I will come into the flank.
Yeah, but the problem is that they are still like a force to be reckoned with. And if they get into that steam tank, that is 250 points for them to score.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take care of his rangers here. But then my steam tank is charged by his big block, and he's just shipping it down. He hits too hard, and my armors... I live by my armor.
They have like strength 7 on the charge.
Yeah, with armor piercing, and that the tank the stank. The tank is basically paper mache at that point.
It's get turned back into sheet metal after the dwarves are done with it.
So he wins combat here, and he's gonna reform towards my knights.
Okay, so he doesn't even finish off the steam tank?
No, he doesn't have to. He's just hitting it with his flanks and is winning. And I'm coming in with my knights here, but he's turned his mandrakes, or whatever they're called, towards me. And they
mandrakes are like the fire drakes are super good at killing.
They just shoot too hard. Like I can't go in there. I can't do anything about it. And he had one character in that unit, and I was thinking about taking a risk, charging them, and just trying to kill the character and hoping that was his messenger.
That seems like a desperation move.
Yeah, it does. And he actually revealed at the end of the game that was his messenger. So I could have done it.
Which one was yours?
Mine was the
one of the wizards?
No, it was my BSB. It's very safe. It's safe in the great swords. Yeah, and here I get both of my, I get all my war machines destroyed. I get my tank destroyed, and I'm gonna do. Yeah, there you see, I lost my warrior priest, but the other guys are fine. And this is the end of the game. So what I realized, like in the second half of the game, was that I just needed to reconciliate. Like I needed to conserve points. All in all, I lost this game 7-13.
That's not the end of the world.
No, I'm pretty happy with that, considering all. Like Jakob, first of all, he's a good player, and this is a horrible matchup for me. And if I can survive that with 7-13, considering my wins I have in the earlier games, I'm still in quite a good position here. Like, well played to Jakob. But I was also quite happy after this game. Like, just making it out alive is good enough. I got the best matchup in the world, and now I play the worst. I got him out alive, so happy.
Yeah. I was playing against Joachim. I had the opportunity and pleasure of playing him last year, where he was playing his Warriors of Chaos army, and this year he was bringing his Bretonnian army. And like this army is super well painted, like pro level painted.
Yeah, the quality is great.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And he was playing with one of these characters that is called the Fey Enchantress.
One of the best lords in the game. Probably it's so good.
It's super good, and he has 2 Trebuchet. He has 2 lances, and then he has the Grail Knights, and he has a bunch of Pegasi Knights. And it's a really since I got some practice games against Andre, I know how important it's gonna be for me to get these charges, because if they come in rolling with a devastating charge, it's gonna be really brutal for me to deal with them.
Yeah, you're basically banking on your big block not losing.
Yeah. And against the Bretonnian, I can probably win as long as he doesn't get the charge. So I'm basically using my Iron Blaster to wear down his knights. I'm using my Lead Belchers to try and kill off as many Knights of the Realm as I can. On the lower side of the table, we have a kind of fun combat with my 6 ogres and his Pegasi. I didn't think they would be able to last, but this combat goes on forever.
Yeah. Didn't you have some fun stuff with the Hellheart and Enchantress Fey?
You could say fun, you could say terrible. I think it's absolutely unfair, but the game is as it is. And my butcher was bringing his Hellheart, and since I was playing like mostly dwarfs all the game, and I didn't get to use it in any meaningful way. But for this event, it was probably the most disgusting thing I ever done in any of my games.
You must need to go shower after this one.
Yeah, it was really dirty. He got into the midfield of the table. You see him up here in the top right of the map, and he brings out his Hellheart at the start of the phase, magic phase, and he rolls a 6. 30-inch range on the Hellheart. Yeah. And the Fey gets to make a test on the miscast table, and Joachim unluckily rolls a 4. Yeah. And she is in the midst of the Grail Knights, like the most important unit of the Bretonnian army.
So big template, strength 10 hit?
Big template, strength 10 hit on top of the Grail Knights. The Fey Enchantress is sucked into the warp.
It's like 400 something points.
Yeah. And it's so unlucky, because it's a super good unit, and it was right in the midst of like bringing down the pain on mine. But that isn't like the really dirty thing. The dirty thing is my Nobblers in the midst of the table right now, because they are in the flank of the Grey Knights. So they go into the Grey Knights, and the Grey Knights have the Ice Shard Blist on them, so they don't hit that really good against the Noblars. And I have 4 ranks. I don't basically deal any damage at all against them, but they win combat and they rout the Grey Knights somehow. And
you actually catch them.
Yeah, I catch them. I think I rolled a 10. Yeah, absolute tragedy.
That shouldn't have happened. Yeah.
The Noblars of Legends.
And now you're in the flank again.
Yeah. But here is why I like playing against Joachim, because at this event, like, people are used to playing like rough games, and Joachim like played it like a champ. He was there to like turn this bad beat into a win, and his Knights of the Realm, they started plowing through my Mournfang. They killed my Lead Melchers, and he was using his Pegasi Lord to get into combat with my Iron Blaster, and his Lord has heroic killing blow.
That's bad.
That's bad. And he was positioning himself expertly. He got out of my charge arc for my main block, so I didn't like get any good chances to kill off his big important block of knights. And then he was coming in with this other lance formation, threatening to have a rear charge on my main block. So instead of going after the points, I felt threatened, so I reformed to like be ready to deal with that instead. So he actually turned this game, which I thought I was going to win, into a draw, 10-10. And I'm actually happy with that afterwards. I think that if I hadn't gotten that really lucky Hellheart in, I think he would just have devastated me.
Yeah, so it's well played too.
Yeah, well played for sure. And I think we had a good time. Like I think he went home with the best bad beats story of the tournament.
And after this, after the third game, we went out together, all of us. We ate some dinner, drank a few beers, had a few laughs, and it was a perfect ending to a great day.
Yeah. And starting up with the second day, you were playing another well-known fellow.
Yes, so I got to play my fellow Stensele Storuman mate Martin and his Beastman. And he has played against my army before, I played against his, so we are very well familiar with each other's lists and what we have to do and what we cannot do. Yeah. So it's...
the Beastman, we should mention, they have the Mark of Nurgle for free in Triple Crown.
Yeah, so he has Mark of Nurgle on all of his units except 2, which has Mark of Slanesh, and those are his bowmen. I can't remember.
They become immune psychology.
Yeah,
so, and I think that's really good for like the peripheral units. You don't really care about.
No, it's more important that you stand with those.
Yeah. So that they don't rout the whole army when they fail or panic. Because Martin is famous for failing.
Yeah, he's famous for failing leadership tests.
He was playing you, and you were in the upper bracket, so he had a really good event as well.
Yeah, he has been playing really good matches.
So he was playing his A game for sure.
Yeah, and the game is basically like this. He has the Chalice of Dark Rain, and I have a very shooting heavy army, and that makes it so that all of my shooting units that use ballistic skill get -1 to hit, and all of my cannons and stuff need to roll a d6 before hitting. If he can get his units to my side before I kill enough of them, he will win.
Yeah.
And as you can see, I deploy quite defensively, and he deploys very, very aggressively.
Yeah, he's gonna center everything. Minotaurs in the midst and Gores, they are gonna march up alongside.
Yeah.
And he's not playing a horde formation, he's playing them in like multiple...
They're like 9 ranks deep or something like that.
They are steadfast until the end of the game.
Yeah, and as you can see here, he gets in with both his pig here and his chariot against my knights.
Yeah, on the bottom side of the table.
But I actually managed to take both of them out here.
The armor save is such a problem to deal with.
Yeah, and I also get into my knights with his doggos here, but he doesn't care about those units.
Yeah, you just have to redirect them by time.
The big problem here for Martin is that he forgot to use his Chalice of Dark Rain. He doesn't actually use it until turn 3, but then it's gonna be a bit too late, because then he's so close already that it doesn't matter.
I wonder if that was a tactical move to see how wounded he was at the end of the second turn.
Oh, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. And as you can see here, he is turning away from my steam tanks and from everything to go towards my Demigryph knights and my knights with great weapons here. And he basically realized that if he keeps going towards my steam tanks and all of that, there's gonna be nothing left. So he's making a tactical decision to turn around.
Retain some points and then just possibly kill your Demigryph knights and try to turn it into a stalemate.
Yeah. So he's banking everything on getting in here to the side.
But that's rough.
Yeah, it is. And here we're gonna see the most pivotal part of this game. I put Fulminating Flame Cage on his big unit here of Gores. He charges with all 3 units, but they're quite far away, so it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And his Gores are basically guaranteed. So he's taking the risk here, risking the Fulminating Flame Cage to guarantee this charge. And this is gonna turn the game upside down.
Fulminating Flame Cage, for those of you who are wondering, makes you roll a strength 4 hit against every model in the unit.
And as you can see here...
it's gone.
Yeah, I think he lost 60%. He loses 60%. He needs to take a leadership test, and he starts to flee.
Then he takes another hit.
He takes it again. And now his unit of Gores is basically gone. It's basically gone. And what happened there with his Minotaur just before the charge is I actually managed to shoot his Battle Standard Bearer in the back with the cannon. When you shoot at a character with a template weapon, you get to take a lookout, sir. He failed 3 of those in a row with his Battle Standard Bearer. He rolled once 3 times in a row.
So he shot at it with each of the cannons, one after another.
Yes. And he failed 3 times, and it took 3 shots to kill it.
How did he survive 3 cannon shots from the start?
Yeah, he was quite lucky, but yeah.
Lucky?
Yeah, I don't know. In that part, he was lucky, but...
Okay.
And what happens here after this is his units are a bit too weak. I start shooting at them. I charge him with the Demigryph knights.
It's a slaughter.
Yeah, and now it starts cascading his fleas. So his Minotaurs fleas, and everything just flees.
Nothing can rally, and
It was a fun game, but it was quite the slaughter there at the end.
Okay. Well, I think this list might have been my favorite army at the tournament. It was a classically painted Orcs and Goblin army. And I've never played against this kind of army. He had like 80 Night Goblins. I'm just making up a number, 60 at least.
Yeah, and he has this Notling pump wagon. And,
like he has Black Orcs and he has the 3 war machines. He has the Doom Diver, he has the Spear Shotgun, he has the Rock Lobba. And then he has what's his name? I can't remember it on top of my head. It's the fat goblin that raided the whole Empire army, and they
Skarsnik or
no, not Skarsnik. It's one of the goblins that eats a part of a troll and gets regeneration. And he has like this big battle axe that he is roaming and terrorizing the empires with.
Yeah. I can reveal that I did vote for this army for best painted.
Yeah,
I thought the classically painted Orcs and Goblins was
and we'll
amazing.
see some pictures of this, because this one is super cool. And Lars, the one that was commanding it, was a super friendly chap. We spoke some bit about during the dinner, and I just had a really good time playing against this army. Starting off, we rolled up some spells. I kind of realized that I probably wanted to get into combat and try to see if I can like churn through them and break them, because...
Did he have the spider banner in his...
no, he didn't, actually. I thought he was going to have poisonous attacks, but he didn't. I was prepared for that, so I thought that just get in, bait out the fanatics, and then just get in my Iron Guts and just start killing goblins. But he got the first hand on me. He got his chariot into the front of my ogres, did some damage. We were shooting at each other, so nothing really major happening right here. His Doom Diver was probably the MVP at like most of the game, because
I've said this before, but I think the Doom Diver is probably the best artillery piece in the game. It's so good.
It's so accurate. That's the problem. Here I probably did one of the mistakes in the game, because I had a really good target for my lead belcher, which was his Black Rock Orcs. Black Orcs.
Black Rock Orcs?
Yeah, but... it's not that funny.
yeah, it is, because BlackRock is like a company for...
Yeah, but these were mercenary orcs. And he was kind of cleverly hiding one of the items on his war boss. Because my Nobblers were obviously going to die from this, but I had made the mistake of having my lead belchers too far up. So he's gonna make an overrun after he kills the Nobblers.
That must be quite a long overrun.
If I hadn't made that mistakes, the outcome would probably have been something different, because I thought that his like Black Rock Orcs were dead, because there were so few in numbers remaining. But when he revealed his items on his war boss, it was a wholly different game. And then I had something else lined up, which brought even more troubles to myself. Because as you see it right now, his Black Orcs has like charged through, so they are my playing half, and my whole army is on his side. My problem is that I have Lord of Heavens, and I call down a Comet of Cassandora that is right behind his trolls.
Yeah.
And it delayed 2 turns, and I wasn't planning on waiting around. So yeah, I thought I'm gonna like go in. It's a healthy 9-inch distance to my own units. It's probably gonna miss.
It's probably gonna be fine.
Yeah. And instead it lands on top and it kills, I think I roll a 10 or something. It hits every unit of mine. It kills like 3 man-eaters. It kills like 4 iron guts, and it kills like 4 regular ogres.
Yeah. And he's not that worried with his night goblins.
No,
he can afford to lose a few.
Yeah, I think I killed like 6 night goblins and then 1 troll, and then like I killed a bunch of regular orcs, but whoopie-doo.
Yeah.
So he perfectly played like his hand from a like worse position, and then just brought home the game. He killed my army like completely. At the end, I was left with nothing. So
yeah, that's a bit rough. All right, then we have my game 5 here, and at this point, I think I'm in 4th or 5th place or something like that, and I'm definitely in line for the win here. we are playing. We have the top table where Jakob and Asaro is playing, and we have this is the second table with me, and I'm playing against Thomas, the same guy that Jonas played in the first and the second game. And Dwarf is a bad matchup for me. Like that has to be said. But this is a better matchup than the matchup I have with Jakob, because
there are some war machines you can shoot at, and they cost quite a lot of points, and you have good means of dealing with them.
Yeah, he has 3 war machines, and all of them are great targets for my cannons. He has units of crossbowmen, also great target for me. I can kill those. Yeah, and he has a big unit of rangers, and rangers are strong, but they're also a good target for the steam tanks.
They're like you can fight against them at least.
Yeah, he also has the Eurocopter, also a great target for me for the points.
It's such a nauseating unit.
Yeah. So this is a very important game. We're playing for the win here, both of us. So he gets in with his rangers here in the middle.
Is it the organ gun that is killing off your Demigryph knights?
No, he can't reach my. No, that was the cannon. The cannon that shot against it. Yeah, and I wanted to short the Demigryph Knight into the Rangers, but since there are only 2 left, I didn't really dare to do that. And here I shoot a large volley from my Hellfire volley gun.
Did he lose both war machines?
Yeah, that was a very disgusting shot. He put them in a line, which probably was a mistake on his part, because I put my steam tank right in front of it, and I made a shot with the cannon, and I hit both war machines in one shot. And I rolled, I think, a 4 and a 4, and I killed both of them with one shot of the cannon. Absolutely disgusting stuff. I also shoot a volley into his Eurocopter, but it only takes 1 wound, so that's quite bad.
Okay. With a cannon?
No, with the Hellfire volley.
Oh, okay, the Hellfire volley.
Yeah, and he charges my cannon here with his Eurocopter, but I actually win combat. No, we're even in combat, because I do 1 wound, he does 0, and he has to charge.
Okay.
So it's even Steven. He gets to charge into my knights, but I have my steam tank coming in, so I managed to stand a turn here.
I would presume that the rangers can deal with the knights, but not with both of them against them.
No, they can deal with the knights if he gets to charge, which he did, but he can't deal with the steam tank. Afterwards here, it's just gonna be pain for him. And this is one of the very important moments of the game.
Because I think it looks like you're quite even right now.
Yeah,
you have killed the rangers, he has killed some units, you have killed some war machines, but he has dealt some hefty damage as well.
Yeah, I haven't lost any units at this point, I believe. So I'm quite far ahead here. I've killed 2...
But many of your units are wounded.
Yes, but none of them are dead.
Okay.
But this was a very important moment here, because his rangers flee and I don't manage to catch them. And this is going to cause me a big headache later in the game. But I have a quite nice charge lined up here on his cannon and stuff like that. So it's looking alright.
You get into melee as well.
Yeah, I get into melee here with his cannon, but I actually don't manage to kill it in 1 turn. I get really unlucky with my rolls, and I only make 1 wound against it.
Yeah, they get this fortitude where you have -1 to hit.
Yeah.
And they have sufficient weapon skills, so you only hit on 4s and 5s normally.
Yeah, but I think this is not entrenched, so I hit him with my full weapon skill here, but it's still a problem, because now my plan was to kill that war machine, overrun into the engineer, kill the engineer,
and then just bring
and
home
then
the glory.
then just die, I suppose. But what happens in the end is that since his rangers, they're gonna run away once again, and I'm gonna overrun to catch them. And this time I do catch them, but I end up in the forest here. And then I get a flank charge from his
warriors.
No, this is actually his crossbowmen, but when they get me in the flank, I get destroyed. So I lose my unit of knights. They're gonna run off the table. I lose my Demigryph Knights. I manage to shoot a cannon into his engineer and kill that. But after that, we're quite in a stalemate, because both my steam tanks are wounded, and I can't really move them around. And I have no good targets for my cannon or my volley gun, and I'm afraid to shoot my cannon because it might get destroyed. So we're in a weird stalemate where none of us can kill any of the other units, because I'm not gonna allow him to come close enough, and he doesn't have time to come close enough. And I don't have any target to shoot at.
The dwarf's movement is an issue if you get into this kind of late game where it's hard to, like, if you have the superior like melee heavy force, you can't really like catch up to anything easily.
So after like a turn or two of just like shooting from a distance, he can't touch any of my units, I can't touch any of his. We just shake hands in the beginning of turn 5, I believe, because none of us can do anything, basically.
And it would be a mistake of either of you to overcommit and overextend.
Yeah, so we're just playing chicken and letting. So it's like none of us want to do anything because we're more likely to lose points if the cannon misfire or something like that. So we shake hands, and this game turns out to be a 10-10, which is perhaps not the result I was looking for. But it's still quite an alright result.
It's not like, considering the situation, it's not like the end of the world either. You played a good game, he played a good game, and yeah.
Yeah, and I end the tournament with 3 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw.
That's respectable, I have to say.
Yeah, and my wins were quite
intense.
Yeah, they're quite overwhelming. So I have a large amount of points, and at this point I'm not sure if I'm in the contention for any awards or not, but we're gonna take a look at that at the awards ceremony.
Yeah. For my 5th game, I was playing Anton, who was playing an Empire army with the Tabalak land. I call them the Scania army. They were yellow and red, like really, really cool army. He was playing with detachments. He didn't have any war machines. And I was playing like a really different game, and
quite different from the list I played.
Quite different, and I think he was like really brave going into the tournament with such a like different tactical style of list.
You lose 2 war machines. No, sorry.
Yeah,
you're just setting up.
We're just setting up, and he has 2 flanking knights units, and then he has 2 heavy blocks with melee units and detachments. He has crossbow, halberdiers, he has musketeers, and he has 2 wizards, and he has a block of great swords. So he's playing like this strategic empire style of army, and I am playing this shooting heavy list of ogres where I try to soften them up. And we were like lining up for some combat here. He was making a pincer move, and I really like this aspect of Warhammer 8th edition. Like this tactical movement is key. He actually got in a really, really good charge at my Mornfangs. He has some kind of banner that the Empire has, where you get to re-roll once in the charge. And
Steel banner.
Steel banner. And he got to re-roll once, and he made that 11-inch charge with the help of it. Got into my Mornfang with his lances, killed them. The Iron Blaster said, "Oh, I'm not being part of this."
Yeah.
And he failed his leadership and ran off the table. My Lead Belchers, which was hoping to get in 1 or 2 more rounds of shooting, were finding themselves in a really bad spot, because he reformed after he killed my Mornfangs. He was staring them down, and I was like, I don't think I can kill them in one go. So I have to make some charges here. I'm gonna make and hope for an ogre charge with the Lead Belchers. I'm making a charge with my Iron Gut into his great swords. And we are just having a big old slugfest. Yeah, my Nobblers are going in. I think that he would possibly win this game, if not for one thing. Since I was playing the Lore of Heavens, I actually managed to land one really crucial comment here.
The comment is like the comment is your
my
ace
trademark. It's like the ace in the hole.
Jonas was like the only one who played the Lore of Heavens, basically the last tournament, and played a lot with the comet. And this year, Lore of Heavens was the most prevalent lore of all of them. So you set some kind of trend, I believe.
Yeah, but they have the best signature spell, and they have the best damage spell. Because
no, I don't agree that it's the best damage spell.
I think it actually is the best damage spell. It's not like the best spell. Removing units outright with Pit of Shades is nice, or like Purple Sun. But when you just like want to tally up wounds, I don't think that there is any better spell than the comet.
It puts immense pressure on your opponent, because they need to rethink their game plan. They need to get get the F out of there. That is the problem.
And it's so good at dealing with war machines. I love it. Yeah, we were having a good game. I think this is probably the most even game that I face in the whole tournament, and that perhaps speaks to Triple Crown and like the comp system.
Yeah.
We ended up playing each other and we were well matched. I had a really good time. He were killing stuff of mine. I were killing stuff of his. I got in a good man-eater charge on his knights, and they somehow managed to beat the living hap out of the knights.
And we are playing on the table next to each other. If you have a foot fetish, you can see my feet up in the top left.
No shoes.
No
That's
shoes.
a risky move.
Yeah, that is a risky move. But it looked like a great game. You had a lot of fun, as I heard when you were playing. So
yeah, I think this was probably the most evenly matched game, and he was playing strategically. I was trying to just get in some kills, and I kind of like those games.
He was playing strategically, and you just went.
Yeah, but it's like thematically correct, because the ogres, they are like up front, they're gonna beat stuff up. He was like measuring his distances, like keeping his saving points. He had his ace in the hole. He had a really like difficult choice right here, because he could either try to go up against my knights or up against my ogres with his knights, or he could try to take on my man-eaters. And he chose the latter, and then he chose to preserve points, and we ended up in a 10-10 situation at the end.
Yeah, that seems like the correct choice. Probably the man-eaters. It's
and
safer choice.
I think like the whole like army was awesome. I really liked the detachments.
Yeah.
And like playing that strategical flank charge, like moving regular units around, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I should be playing some more of that. But double steam tank. No fair play prizes from me.
But you have seen some of the games right now. I think this wasn't like the full experience. To have the full experience, you actually need to go to Dalaslaget, I would say.
Yeah, you need to. And we should take a look at the award ceremony, and we will reveal if we manage to take home anything. And then we'll see you after that.
Yeah.
Sen så har vi bästa nykomling, Lars. Tack. Och de här printade sakerna i MDF kommer från Jonas Ivarsson som säljer grejer. Jag vet inte om ni har sett han i gruppen. Så ett shoutout till han också som sponsrat lite. Sen då, årets högsta komp. Tapani med 9. Och sen har vi årets lägsta komp, Steinar på -5. Bra kämpat. Årets Highlander, bästa Highlander då. There can only be one. Thomas Oredsson. Årets Best Paint eller Armies on Parade körde vi i år, och det vart ju med en jordskredsseger, Erik Nyqvist. Sen så går vi in på placeringar då. På tredje plats i år, Måns.
Gratulerar.
Tack. Grattis.
Tackar.
Dryg jävel. Andra platsen går till Thomas.
Grattis. Väl jobbat.
Och så första platsen, tillbaka på tronen, Asaro! Tack själv.
Grattis.
Jag vill tacka 10 Island Gaming som offrar sina liv för mig.
Sen har vi då årets sportsmanship. Och det går till Jonas.
Grattis.
Ja, välförtjänt.
Tack.
Sen har vi achievements,
Yes.
Jimmy.
En lång lista. Är det någon som har uppnått 64 eller mer?
Nej.
Välkommen upp!
Tredje gången.
Gratulerar!
Avslutande ord. Tack så jättemycket för att ni kom. Tack till Storuman Energi som också har sponsrat i år igen. Så det är stort tack för det som gör det möjligt. Och tack för att ni kommer och gör det möjligt. Också.
So, now that you've seen the award ceremony, here we have them. Third place and what was it?
Sportsmanship.
Sportsmanship. Best
I
sportsmanship.
think everyone at the tournament actually deserved sportsmanship.
Yeah, there was no one that had bad sportsmanship. That needs to be said. But it's amazing. It's a really nice prize to win. A lot of people value that prize very high. So it's a very nice
I
thing
was
to receive.
super honored. I didn't actually like it took me a couple of seconds to realize that why.
Yeah, they were like, Jonas, you were standing still. I'm not like, why aren't you going up? like you didn't believe it. But it's not about size that is important. We can hold this closer.
Is that some kind of mantra you've been?
Yeah.
No, but you did. I think you did like really well at, and it needs to be said. Like well fought, fighting your way up to the top 3.
Yeah, thank you. I was really happy with that. It's more than you could ask for sure. I was really happy. I didn't think it was going to go that well, so this is holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah. And we need to make a shout out to Azar as well. Like he was also playing the Ogre Kingdoms army.
Yeah,
and he was piloting them alongside some Mournfang. No, not Mournfang, Man-Eaters, but I think that the star players were
Saber-Tusk. Yeah, he used I think it was Force Saber-Tusk to direct charges and redirect charges and stuff like that. And he's a great player. I think this is, I know it's at least his second, it might be his third time winning. And he's been on the podium plenty of times before that, so he's a great player, amazing player.
Yeah. I hope to play him sometime.
Yeah,
I need to you play good players and you learn and improve.
But this tournament was loads of fun. We need to thank the organizers, all the people we met that we played against.
Yeah, and like everyone that was there as well.
Yeah, these 2 events that Dalaslaget has. It's like the highlights of the year. It's amazing. It's so much fun. We go on a road trip. The boys go and to another town, sleep at hotel, and meet the good people.
Yeah, and just get to nerd out.
Yeah,
and
so
I think that I would presume that the same experience is happening all over the place.
Yeah.
Like people in England, Americas,
Spain have a lot of
Italy,
people.
like everywhere around. Like the community is super friendly. That they are playing like Warhammer 8th edition.
Yeah, so if you are a fantasy player in Sweden, you should go to Dalaslaget. If you're not, look up your local tournaments. Fantasy still has quite an active scene in many parts of the world.
Yeah, and you can even reach out to us. We have some few network contacts. We could possibly help you around, because there are people like everywhere all around playing the game. Yeah. And everyone is probably praying for the old world as well. Yeah. And even if the old world isn't great, we still have 8th edition.
Yeah, and then the interest for the game seems to be growing, and playing in a tournament, not only is it great fun, but you also grow as a player quite a lot. I feel like every time I've been to a tournament, I'm so much better player than I was before.
It was kind of hard to grasp, because when you went the first time, when I didn't go, and you came back, like, why is Mons winning everything?
Yeah, so it's great, like for you to evolve as a player, and it's great fun. So I hope the Dalaslaget keeps growing. I hope that the communities all over the world keep growing.
Yeah, and with a bit of luck, we meet you at the next event.
Yeah, hopefully we do. So with that, we'll leave you with the best of luck in your future games.
And if you want to reach out to us, drop us a mail or leave us a comment. And if you think that this video was somewhat fun to watch, leave a thumbs up or just a comment with what you want to see next.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. So see you all in the future. Have a good night.
Have a good night.